Hey y'all, this is Danny. Some folks call me Doc because of my background. I'm a retired educator, and I taught. I was in K-12 and some higher ed. So uh, I recently went through a time of just deciding I needed to purchase a firearm. You know, what in the world? I'd never touched a touched a handgun before until I well, I'll tell you the story. But I was no experience, a newbie, no military experience, no law enforcement, and so what in the world am I doing? Thinking that I'm that one, how did I get to the point where I realized I needed a handgun, and what in the world? How do you go get one? And what was that experience like? And what have I learned over that through that experience as I'm sharing with other folks, trying to get them into the hobby also, including my wife and 4 daughters. So I guess the big thing for me, and I would encourage you. So the title of this is you're over 40, you're thinking about a firearm. What in the world? Well, maybe you're not over 40, say you're over 30, but you know this is really geared for someone who either has never handled or shot a handgun, because at least for me, that was going to be what I was wanting to purchase and use for protection. And, so not everyone has the background of growing up shooting rifles, shotguns, handguns, all that. Um, not all of us were brought up with that or brought up in that. And we just get to a point where, through a variety of events, we get to this point. I need a firearm. I've never purchased one. What in the world? What do I do? So, uh, I love sharing my journey to gun ownership, and really how it has just had such a positive impact on my life. And I'll talk more about that later too. Just what kind of turned into a necessity, what I felt like was a necessity, and I think it still is, has turned into an unbelievable hobby, an unbelievable opportunity to have relationships with folks, and especially in my case, to have fellowship with other men. Because in my case, it was, I there it was work and family and church, and then work and family and work and family and work and church and work and family, and no hobbies for me. So I uh, I guess I've owned a handgun just briefly here. I got my first handgun 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, something like that. I'm almost 62, and yeah, I had never. So I'd gotten my concealed weapons permit first before I purchased a handgun, and that was the first time I ever touched a handgun. The first time I ever touched a handgun, and then here we are. So I just love sharing my journey. So with everything in life, it's like, what's your why? Why are you doing anything? You know, why? So that's something for you to ask yourself, and only you can answer it. And there are going to be a lot of people that are going to have a possible different answer than you on why. But for me, so 30 years in, or 29 and a half, I'm going to call it 30 years in education. And long story short, I move into real estate sales. So I'm a salesperson, have no background in sales, don't like sales, don't like salesy people, don't like people trying to technique me or overcome my objections or practice their scripts on, just the whole. Anyway, so another part of my channel is doing doing videos for real estate agents on relationship based sales. So I quickly, not so quickly, but I learned how to do that, and it's been great. So I'm at an open house. This is pre-pandemic, I think, or early on, because we were having open houses like crazy, and it was in the middle of a town in the middle of the county I live in, and you could have dropped a bomb on the property, on the house. No one would hear it. It's in the middle of nowhere. So the way, of course, we announced open houses on the internet, and that's the whole thing on realtor safety, and I got a thing for that too, and love talking about that. But at that point, I didn't know what from Shinola about personal safety or protection or handguns or whatever, firearms, and I'd put a bunch of open house signs throughout all these back roads, pointing them to it was a beautiful log cabin on some acreage, and plenty of room for a small gun range too. Holy smokes. I should have bought that thing if I'd have had the money. But so I had some interesting characters. Most of my business are in the suburbs or in the towns, and there's a house 10 feet away. Subdivisions around here, you can yell out to the house next door, hey, do you have any sugar? And they can just pass it from their house, their window to yours. You're that close. But I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I really don't have a lot of listings where I'm just out there. So long story short, I had some visitors come over several weekends of having open houses. And really for the first time, it dawned on me that, I really haven't been paying attention to my safety, my personal safety. That, someone could have done anything to me. We could have both been screaming and hollering. No one would have hurt us. No one would have come running. If someone had fired a gun, if someone would have heard it, they wouldn't have blinked, because we're in the country. I mean, you're going to hear people hunting and plinking and doing all these things. Explosion. Probably someone shooting, what's that stuff, tannerite? So I realized, holy smokes, y'all. I need to do something about my safety. And I just decided then, just something clicked in my head, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be a willing victim, let's say. I'm not Superman, not a superhero, not on SEAL Team 6. But I'm not going to be I just decided I'm not going to be a willing victim, and I'm not going to let my family members be easy, willing victims. So, something flipped in my brain. Interesting, though, was, 6 months before that, a local lender, a mortgage lender, had put something out on a Facebook page, and a colleague said, hey, this lender is offering a free concealed weapons permit class, and they'll even drive you out there, provide lunch. They'll cover everything. They'll cover lunch. They'll cover the gun rental and ammo. It's free. It's like you pay a $50 deposit. If you attend the thing, you get your $50 back. I was like, I like free concealed weapons permit. Well, dang. Okay. So I went and did that, had a blast. We had semi-automatic pistols, and I'll have other videos talking about those and the differences of kind of handguns if you want a handgun or need advice or whatever. Now, of course, you can get a bunch of advice from people that know way more than me, but just from a regular guy who pays attention to guns, uh, what kind of guns are out there and the options, and I shoot all the time. Um, and it's just so much fun to talk about. So at any point here, leave me a comment. I'll do my best to answer it. I just love talking about this hobby. So I get there to the concealed weapons permit class. Great training. They even offered a realtor safety component, which was great. And it had dawned on me that I'd like violated some of the things. Like I'd go to preview property in the middle of nowhere, and that someone else would like be on the property, and I wasn't sure if it was the owner or not. And I'd gotten permission to be there, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of nowhere again, and what in the world, And then I'm going up, or I'm going upstairs or downstairs, and the unknown person's behind me. Hello. Um, so that was cool having that real estate or realtor safety component, but I'd never touched a handgun. So I didn't know a magazine or a mag from I watched the movies, but how to even eject a mag, or is a a magazine? How do you put the bullets in? What direction? What caliber? Uh, okay, I got the mag or magazine in the gun. How do how do how do you get the bullet from the magazine into the chamber so you can shoot? So that's my background. So, if you're a tier 1 operator, you're not watching this. No, but send this to someone who is a newbie like I was, uh, because I know what it was like to do this um, with no experience, and I went through this recently, and there's just so much to think about and so much thought there, that I would love for you to share this video with someone who needs it. So more on my background. My mom's from the country, and her people are from the country. They're country folk, and they all hunt, and they all got the rifles and the shotguns. And I saw some of that when I was a kid. Didn't see any handguns out, but I do remember like cousins going squirrel hunting with a 22, and they're skinning the squirrel and frying it. And I think I might have shot a shotgun a couple of times, a 22 rifle a couple of times when I was little. But man, I didn't know anything about all that. I saw it. I saw those things a couple of times, but they weren't in my house. My dad did end up buying a shotgun, but it just stayed in the closet, and then it was given to me. And so for 40 years, 35, 40 years, it just stayed in its case. The shotgun just stayed in the case in the back of my closet. Yeah, that's a great home defense gun, huh? Never took it, I never went shooting. Duck hunting, no. Gun range, why? Busy with, eventually got busy with work and life and kids and family. And, I'd hear the stories and see the photos of even some of my buddies or my family members, cousins, aunts, uncles, all them hunting, hunting deer from horseback, doing all the things in a stand, doing whatever. And never was that, just never dawned on me, So yeah, and so that's my background, and it was just, my why was, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be a willing victim. Not going to be an easy victim. I'm not going to leave my kids orphans. Well, no, they'll have their mom, I guess, so they won't really be orphans. But without a dad. So some of the things to think about as far as this you're at the point where you think you want to get a gun. You know, is it going to be a handgun, a rifle, a pistol? Oh my word! Well, first of all, what's your situation? What's your why? And then, just as important, almost as important, is what's your situation? You know, why do you want it? And is it going to be for personal protection? Is it going to be for home protection, vehicle, out when you go hiking or camping? You know, but I'm not an attorney, but I need to know the laws of my state and town regarding ownership, transportation, carrying, storage, and depending on where you live, bless your hearts, you might have a lot of hoops to jump through in order to get any kind of firearm, if that's what you want. So, you know, why you need it, home protection might be different than carrying it, might be different than having it in your car or out hiking, or are you going to carry it on you? Is it going to be in your purse or backpack or a sling bag or crossbody bag? All those things. And then, man, you got no experience maybe, or you hadn't shot in a while, or whatever it is. You know, you need to be, thinking about, where do I start? Is this really what I want? Have I tried other things first? And we'll talk more about that too. But some things like, do I have I thought about, uh, you know, say I wave a magic wand, I have a gun in my hand. So, you know, where am I going to store it? It needs to be where a child can't, or an inexperienced person can't get to it. Um, Legally, what's required? It might be, you might have specific legal requirements based on where you live on just how to store the gun. Well, where are you going to practice? Where are you going to train? You, you know, I don't know. And really, in every decision that we make, I think the best question, one of the best questions is to ask, is it wise? So, um, you know, is it wise to have a weapon that could kill somebody and never practice with it, or never get training, uh, haven't taken a safety course, or at least haven't gone with someone who's got some experience, and you've had an opportunity to shoot different kinds of ammo, and you've done different kinds of drills, and you know how to unload it, you know how to load it and do all that safely, like the cardinal rules of handling a firearm. um, do you know those rules? Are you familiar enough to where you feel confident in handling and transporting and shooting and talking about that firearm? And then ammo. So really, if you get the gun for free because you waved your magic wand, all those other things aren't free. Um, so a lot of us, like for me, I belong to a couple of gun clubs. It's just so fortunate, man. I'm just so blessed that I'm able to. Uh, I belong to two outdoor gun ranges, which are so much fun, and I belong to an indoor range, and that's fun too. And I know people that have property. They know someone else that just has property, and they set up a little something, and they do some plinking and shooting at stuff, and or maybe they're hunters, and um, so you get all kinds of opportunities there. So be thinking about, if you're going to go this route, where are you going to get your training, and where you go, a safety course, or you can get certified in different kinds of training. But one of the things is figuring out your laws, where your local and state laws, you know, because in some jurisdictions, uh, I think over half the states are constitutional carry, and exactly what that means varies from state to state. And I'm not an attorney, but it could mean that you're allowed to open carry and or conceal carry without a permit. And cool. God, God bless America. Um, I know for me and my family, our state was, you did have to have a CWP, concealed weapons permit, in order to carry a handgun. And then recently, we became a constitutional carry state, and we were like man, we're in the, we're in the South, so we were one of the last Southern states to, you know, get on that bandwagon. But I know for me and my family, I'm asking my daughters, so they, um, they don't all go shooting with me the same amount of time, but just because of their situations uh, and such. But they all know they get to pick one of my guns to have, but and they're gonna I'm gonna want them to go through the concealed weapons permit training. Um, so now, of course, they've learned how to shoot from me, or they're learning how to shoot from me and their uncles. But I just think it's a good experience to get that concealed weapons permit. You learn some of the laws. You really start having the right mindset. It's not like I just went to the store and picked up a new handbag or something, or a new, I'm putting on a new pair of shoes, or hey, I got a new bow tie. No, this is something serious that I really need to think about. And do I want to carry this? And do I have the mindset? And do I have the good mental health um, to do this? And I think the concealed weapons permit class really helped me get into this mindset of yeah, I'm gonna carry, and I'm understanding what that means for me, my family, and my community. So man, I love talking about this. We'll talk more. Uh, we're going to get into some more details in the next couple of videos. So this is for anyone over 40, over 50, over 80, whatever, over 30, or just otherwise you haven't um, you haven't purchased a gun before, or shot a gun, and you're thinking you want one. So the next video we'll get more into that, and we'll be talking about some non-lethal options to consider as a first line of defense, as opposed to uh, going straight to the lethal. So lots of options there, a lot of things in personal and home safety and family safety to think about. And we'll get into some of that with the next video. And so all this is for, man, share this with folks. I love sharing this information, and uh, I'm gonna let you know what's what when you're going into a gun store. This is what you're gonna experience. This is what you could experience. This is the kind of mindset to have. This is the thing to be on the lookout for. Um, some good ways to kind of learn more, grow more. If you think this is going to become one of your things that you're passionate about, or you care about, or just a hobby that you can really go all in with, I'm telling you, it's a great one. And man, I've met some just incredible men and women who share this passion. And whatever, the media or movies or books might say about people that carry or people that own guns or whatever, man, I'm telling you, it's just been a wonderful group. And this is coming from, I guess I'm 3.5 years into gun ownership, and it's just been fantastic. So leave me some comments. If you got questions, leave me some questions. Share this with someone who needs it. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Appreciate you guys.